I have seen people say price discovery is finally back. And you can pick your poison, who you want to blame for all of this. You can go and just say Powell's dealing with what he has to do, given the hand he was dealt by Bernanke and Yellen, even Greenspan. They go all the way back there. So you think that the latest rate hike was appropriate, but what about next year? Do you think is Powell right to say at least 2 and autopilot for the balance sheet?
We should hike again after yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. He did the right thing.
Because of the labor market. 4
of your 5 monetary policy rules that the Fed follows all said to hike. He had to hike. And he wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't. With the unemployment rate 70 basis points below the NAIRU and your inflation at target, this is what your monetary policy rules tell you to do, except for one, the price level rule. But yes, and if the economy performs as he's expecting, 2.3% growth, yeah, it does warrant further hikes.
We had a long discussion with Steve Leisman yesterday about the autopilot comment when it comes to the balance sheet. Would you like to have seen him be a little more flexible on that point?
I think there's a misperception out there that the Fed's balance sheet is impacting the equity market. There really isn't a direct impact on the equity market. The balance sheet is simply a tool to implement monetary policy. In fact, reserves peaked at $2.8 trillion in 2014. They've come down almost $1 trillion since then, and yet the equity market rallied between August 2014 and September about 40-some%. So if the 10-year rate was at 3.75 right now, and the Fed was actually selling, because they're not selling, they're letting it roll off, and you had treasuries competing with risk assets, then I would say you would have an argument there that it's disrupting the equity
people make
markets.
liquidity claims that it's an indication for short-term financing that there's problems, and that it seeps over into stocks. And there's huge demand for dollars worldwide, and we're shrinking dollars.
LIBOR OAS hasn't really gone out that much at all. Banks are very well funded, very well capitalized.
You did see the S&P go down 20%, right? I mean, I know that we can't blame everything on the Fed, but you're sure just everything's great. These guys are doing just what they're supposed to do. Go Jay, go 6 times next year.
Well, here's what happened though. The communications.
You're a bond guy, aren't you? You don't care about the rest. What about all these people with their 401ks, Brett?
Well, the stock market will stabilize.
This is a medicine. Take your medicine. Take your medicine.
No, I would say, the communications got a little mixed up, I think, with the.
Is that what it was? So it's not the actual deeds themselves?
No, I think they had a little trouble with communicating what their pace was going forward and how committed they were to that pace. And I think that's what's.
So if he said it like the FedEx guy, if he said it differently, we wouldn't be down. Jodie, what did we get? We didn't get into did we close in bear market territory?
We did not.
What did we get to?
We got to minus 19.8%. So minus 20 would have been the official bear market.
Can't we round up? I mean, really? We didn't hit bear market. Can I say we hit? Don't you think with individual stocks, what happened with most stocks that we hit bear market territory?
It feels a lot like bear market territory. What we saw, every single size, sector, style of the market is down for December. This has only happened 9 times ever in history. And sometimes it comes in pairs. 3 of those times we've seen back-to-back months that are negative like this. But what we also see is, it's hard to ignore the Fed, that they raised rates. There might be a tighter credit market for the businesses. We've also seen global economic slowdowns, particularly from China and from Europe. We've seen a slow housing market. So this is very broad-based pressure that's on the market. And just because there was one really positive holiday shopping number doesn't mean that everything's better all of a sudden.